In this video, we will continue with solving absolute value inequalities. You will find this on page 375 in the Namibian AS-Level Mathematics textbook, y equals mx plus c to success. Let's look at solving absolute value inequalities involving more than. And when I will reflect back to this picture, and I will also reflect back to this line in the examples. But for now, let's just look at an example. Solve the following inequalities. This is bigger than 10. Okay, so remember, if you look on this, now it's negative 10 and 10. So it's to this side or that side, because it's not in between. That's why we don't say and. So it's going to be, I take that part, so it's smaller than negative 10, or this is bigger than 10. Okay, so that is your opening statement. Now I just simplify. Remember, as soon as you divide by a negative, the sign swap. And this, divide the negative, the sign swap. And that is your solution. If you look at the sketch, and this is the sketch for this one, then this is the straight line. This is the absolute value. The straight line is y equals 10, cuts the y-axis at 10. Now, it's where it's bigger. Now, this part is where it's smaller. This part is where it's bigger. If there's an equal sign, you will go with the equal sign all the way. But if there's not an equal sign, it actually indicates that on that point, it's an open part. So it's bigger or it's smaller or bigger, but it's not including that two values. Okay. Okay, so the next one, if I say bigger than 0, okay. So, and I think I have to take you first back to this. If I say that the value of b was bigger than 0, it's all real numbers except where it's 0. Okay, so keep that in mind. It's almost like if you have a number line, it's bigger, but it's not that point. So let's just see what did I do there. Oh, sorry, I went too far. Okay, so this means all real numbers, but not the value x will give, the value of x that will give a 0 answer. To find the number, make the absolute value equal to 0. So you want to say all real, but not this number. So the solution of inequalities is all real numbers except 3. And you can write it like that in the short way. Okay. I want you, before I let you start with the exercise, I want you also to remember if it's just bigger and equal, then it's all the real numbers, because then it's even including the 0. So keep that in mind. Okay. I want you to do, and I'm going to give you a little bit more here. I want you to do F, G, because it's all the 0 playing around, even the negative, and I want to give you this. Again, I want you to stop the video, and as soon as you are finished, you can continue the video. After you've done, remember to try 2, where we are play around with bigger, smaller, and you have to concentrate, especially with that opening statement. Okay, but for now, I'm going to do F. So in this video, it's going to say x plus 12 plus 3, and remember your rules for equations also. You have to isolate, so take that one over. Now, if you take it over, it's going to be x plus 12. Okay, and then it's going to be 17 and it's going to be 14. Remember, if that's the run with the equal sign the whole way. Now, don't forget, your opening statement will be, okay, let's just, as soon as it's going to be x plus 12, and I think I want to just indicate it on a number line also. So on a number line, and it's just helping me a little bit with that, to say this is now negative 14, and this is positive 14. And now it's bigger, so it's to this, and it's equal, so it's colored in, and to this. So that must be the picture in your mind. So then I'm going to say Okay, don't make brackets then anymore. Let's just clean this. I just want to. So you say just x plus 12 is smaller or equal. Think of that, 14, or x plus 12, and think of this part is bigger or equal to 14. So x will be smaller and equal to 14 minus 12. So x will be smaller and equal to 2. Or x will be bigger and equal to 14. Sorry. Do you see my mistake? There should have been a negative. I look at the picture. The picture is correct. Okay, and then this one, and I just correct this one for you. And this one is going to be negative 26. Okay. Usually when I see it works out the same, then somewhere I made a mistake. So it's also good that sometimes I make a mistake and that you see how I noticed that I made a mistake and correct it then. So x, and this is going to be bigger and equal to 2. Okay. And there is my OR. Did they say represent it and illustrate your solution on the number line? So on my number line, this is my number line. Oh, I don't like it so bad. Okay, this is better. Okay, so on my number line, this is, let's just make this negative 26, and let's just make this 2. Okay, so if I do it on this number line, I color it in there. And I say smaller and equal to negative 26 and bigger and equal to 2. You can show 0 also, but it's not necessary. Okay, now I'm going to look at number G. Let's make space. Number G. So this one, and this is now all this playing around with 0. And it's not a long sum, but you have to understand it. So the problem or the thing in this one, it's even including 0, bigger. So all the numbers including 0. So therefore, you can just go, therefore, x is an element of real numbers. And if I have to draw it on a line, this is my number line. I will just indicate it to you like this. I'm just going to use this again. It's a line and just make it. That is all. To the positive as well as to the negative. I can maybe just indicate that that was 0. So positive and negative, all real numbers. If I give you, and don't let me catch out to you with number H, and I gave it to you because I was afraid you're going to. The thing is, don't go, oh, it's no solution. If it's smaller, yes, no solution, but not for bigger. Because what it's actually saying, it's say bigger than negative 3. So it's correct, it cannot be negative 3, negative 2, negative 1, but it can be 0. Okay, and it can. So you have to think, if you're going to do that one, it's going to be exactly the same answer. So it's also an element of R, and it's going to be exactly the same number line. And I'll just explain to you now what is the difference. Or in writing, I will tell you the difference. Oh, pen. Okay, in writing, I can say, and if I want to say, only the values from 0 are valid. So this can be regarded. So this is actually meaning. If they give you something like this, it's actually meaning, and I'm just going to put meaning. It's going to be 4 plus x. Was it also equal now? 4 plus x. It's bigger or equal to 0. So it's not negative 3, not negative 2, not negative 1, if I'm just thinking of the integers. But this is actually meaning that, and that is why the answers will be exactly the same. Okay. Now, what's the thing with number I? So bigger, you have to think a little bit. It's not like smaller. Now, number I. And this was 2x minus 3 plus 5. So it was 2, always isolate that. And it was 2x minus 3, and it's bigger than 0. So again, now it's just 0 that's not included. So I can just go and I say, okay, I first want to just find where this is equal to 0. So it's only one value. So it's only going to be 3. So x is going to be 3 over 2. Okay, or 1.5. So basically, I want all the values, but it is bigger than 0, but it cannot, because there's not the equals sign underneath. Okay, and so if I put it in writing, and then I will go with the number line. So therefore, x is also an element of real numbers, but x must just not be 3 over 2, because then it will be equal to 0. And if I put it on a number line, I will just do it like this. And I just indicate, there's my number line. Okay, so, let's just, I'm going to mark the place for 0. Okay, and then this is the place for 1.5, 3 over 2. And if I draw it on the number line, I will make an open circle there. And then I will go to this side, and it's just the open circle there at 1.5, and that's how I illustrate it. Remember what I said? It's for me very important that you do this number 2, because make sure bigger, your opening statement is correct. And always, for bigger, you think of this. And as soon as you see smaller, your opening statement, think of this. Okay. So there's a bigger and a smaller and a smaller. So try to make sure that you don't get mixed up.